Hello, my name is Sharon Haig and I want to thank you for watching me again today. Today I'm going to talk about how to escape from poverty. A lot of people talk about how to get into prosperity, and I know I've done that a lot too. But the first step is to escape from poverty, to escape from where you're at right now, especially if you're in a crisis or in a time of massive rapid change. Then you need to know the steps of how to escape from that and get into where you want to get into. There's a scripture that I want to read you. It's from Isaiah 59:19, and it's probably a familiar scripture. You've probably heard it before, but I want to maybe look at it in a fresh light, in particular about how to escape from where you're at now into where you want to go. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. If you're in a time where the enemy is coming against you like a flood, then you need to know how you can escape. And that phrase there, lift up a standard, actually also means to escape or to cause your enemy to flee, to make them to run away. It's a word of victory, but I think the actual wording is very potent, very powerful. It says what the Lord will do is to come in and lift up a standard against him. And I've found that in times of change, one of the things that you need to do, and the most important key to changing, is to do this. Raise your standards. Raise your standards. You see, a lot of people have standards for finances that keep them in poverty. For example, they might think that their standard is just as long as they get enough money to pay their bills and have a little bit extra to live on. Well, as long as that is your standard, guess what's going to happen? All you'll have is enough to pay your bills and a little bit extra to live on. If you lift your standard and say, my new normal, my new standard, my new floor, if you like, my new minimum is that I want to have enough money to pay all my bills before they're due, in full, and have money to give to others, money to help me achieve my purpose that I was called to, and enough to enjoy life abundantly, then your standard is going to be quite different to what it was. And, this is the key, you'll find your results will be quite different to what it was just because you've changed your standard. So how do you change your standard? Well, I think one of the easiest ways to do it is to get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil and just go through and look at each area of your daily life. So just the activities, the routines that you do all of the time. If you go to a job and you're earning a certain hourly rate, put down, I spend so many hours a day earning such and such a rate. And all of your activities and routines, just list out what your daily routines are now. That will give you a key to what your standards are now. Then, next to that, on the other side of the page, list out the daily routines that you would have if you met your new standards. So, for example, if your standard now is a job where you earn $10 or $20 an hour and you want to double your income, then your new standard would be working at a job earning $40 an hour. Now, if your standard is to have a business or to go on a holiday or whatever it is to achieve a certain level of income, then you'll have different daily routines to match that. But the key is to make sure that you know in your head what your new standard is, what your new normal is, and the daily routines that will help you achieve and maintain that standard. And it really is as simple as that. Once you get that into your head, you'll find the next time you go to make a decision that would have been in line with your old standards, you'll feel uncomfortable about making that decision because your mind now knows that you've got a new standard. And this is shown throughout the Bible. Lots of times when Jesus would meet people, he would find out what their current standard is, and then he would try and take them to the next standard, whatever that was. So, for example, when the rich young ruler came up to him, now, understand, if you're rich, you're young, and you're a ruler, you've got life pretty good. And he came to Jesus, and Jesus answered his questions and tried to find out where he was. And the rich young ruler said, yeah, I've been doing all that since I was a youth. And Jesus said, well, you've done well. And then he tried to take him up a level, take him up a notch, get him to do what? To raise his standard. So he said to him, why don't you go and sell everything and come and follow me? Now that level, that standard was too much, even for someone who was rich, who was young, and who was a ruler, who was a leader. He didn't want to go that far. He didn't want to lead his own life into that level. And so that's what Jesus does to us all the time. It says he's lifting up our standard. In this scripture in Isaiah, thousands of years ago, Isaiah said that when the enemy comes against us, the way that the Lord has of attacking that is for the Spirit of the Lord to come and to lift up a standard. So that's what we need to do if we want to get the enemy to flee. The word also means not just that the enemy will flee and you can escape, but the enemy will literally vanish. That's what lifting up a standard means. And I've found when I've done this, it's been so powerful that you can actually change so quickly because your new normal makes you feel uncomfortable when you try and do the things that you found comfortable previously. A standard is something that you will not sink below. That's what a standard is. It's like a line in the sand. It's a measuring point where you say, this far and no further. It's a point of determination. And once you set that as a standard, as a new normal for you, you're much more determined to reach that. You don't have to motivate yourself anymore because you just feel uncomfortable if you're not reaching it. You are self-motivated to achieve that new standard. That's why it's so powerful. So I encourage you to do that list, all your daily routines now, and specify what your standards are now and why doing that daily routine makes sense under the old standard, and then devise new standards and new daily routines to go with that. It's a really powerful move. I'm Sharon Haig. I hope that these principles will help you as much as they've helped me. If I can be of any further assistance, please visit the website or view some more of these videos. I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at this address. Thank you.